Welcome there. We're on the internet. We're live. New Zealand Fighter Podcast is live. Hello, internet. We're live. New Zealand Fighter Podcast. I'm Jamie Patterson from New Zealand Fighter, and I'm here with my good friend Nick Rado. Nick, how you doing?
Very well, thank you. They said it would never happen, but now we are on the internet. So
yeah, I think we're famous now. Is that it?
That's
like you've been on TV and things though. You're on TV. Because there's way more people watching the internet now.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah, I think this is a next level for you.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think this is what I've been building towards. So yeah, it's going to be exciting. New Zealand Fighter Podcast. It's going to be a great listen and watch.
This is our pilot episode, and we're going to be talking to you guys pretty regularly about what's going on in combat sports, what's going on in boxing, what's going on in kickboxing, mixed martial arts, the UFC, of course, everything that's just happened, and all the upcoming events. We're going to be talking to some fighters. We're going to be talking to some world champions. We're going to be talking to some really interesting people, and hopefully. We'll make it entertaining. Hopefully, we'll be funny.
That's the only bit that we can't really promise. But the rest of the stuff is guaranteed. But
we will definitely talk to fighters. Whether we,
listen, we'll be definitely talking. So
we'll definitely say things.
Yeah.
It's subjective whether we'll be funny, and actually, I'm going to go out on a limb and say we are funny. Yeah. And if you don't think that we're funny, then you're wrong. That feels like.
Yeah. That sounds like the fighting way to go.
That feels like a real arrogant way to start. I feel like we just watched anybody who was watching this just disappear instantly.
No, I think they've gone to the edge of their seat. So
they're ready.
So let's kick off, I reckon. So what are we going to start off with first?
Let's talk about what's been going on in combat sports. So you and I went and saw UFC Auckland about a week and a half ago. We were sitting in Spark Arena.
Yeah.
And that was an incredible event. City Kickboxing, obviously 3-3 again.
Yeah.
Another perfect night for Eugene Beerman's fighters. Kaikara France. What do we think of Kaikara France?
Kaikara France was amazing. He did an amazing job. It was actually really interesting chatting to him after the fight, and he was so it was a dream of his to fight at Spark Arena because he missed out on a few of the other previous card that the UFC brought here.
He did, yeah.
And he was super pumped, and he did New Zealand proud, and a lot of pressure on him as well because he was the first fighter. And if you're going to do the three-peat, you can't really lose the first one. And so he was great, and I think
to kick off the night well.
Yeah, I think so, and I think if I'm right, he was the first. There was some odd chants going out at the UFC Auckland, and I think it was broadcast live across the world.
Yes,
one of the ones was. Was it fuck him up?
Fuck him up was a chant.
Yes.
That was definitely a chant.
So that was the most eloquent that the Auckland crowd got. But weirdly, it was like 10,025 people were all chanting it.
Yes.
Yeah. Even the guy Kai was
Yeah,
fighting against was
the referee was in the ring chanting "fuck him up." Everybody in the arena was chanting "fuck him up."
Yeah.
And that's broadcast on ESPN.
Yeah.
So that's how we advertise our country.
Yeah.
All week long, people have been watching embedded videos. They've seen
Yeah.
our culture. You've seen
Beautiful culture,
beautiful like the pole footy at the marae. You've seen beautiful New Zealand culture. You've seen how humble we are,
Yeah.
and then you get to watch the fight, and it's 10,000 people saying "fuck him up."
Yeah.
Because
They have like songs, and the Welsh especially as well. Like they have like these beautiful songs that they sing at these different events. But we can't really sort of, you can't sing Kiwi kids are Weet-Bix kids at a fighting event. So
I reckon Kaikara France has been right up on his Weet-Bix.
Yeah,
I
of
reckon
course.
that's all it is.
Oh, yeah,
I reckon
totally.
I reckon Kaikara France's parents were like, you know, if you eat dry Weet-Bix every day of your life, one day you're going to be, kicking someone else in the face in front of 10,000 people.
Listen, if Tana Umanga can eat 13 Weet-Bix in one sitting, I'm sure the fighters can do a lot more than that. So
I'd like to see how many Weet-Bix Mark Hunt can eat. I think it's in the hundreds.
Yeah, probably. I reckon you'd probably be pretty surprised. I reckon he I'm not too sure. I reckon he's a special K guy.
Nutrigrain.
Yeah.
Mark Hunt's into his Nutrigrain.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, big fights and amazing to see all the boys. Brad Riddell.
Brad Riddell's incredible. Isn't he?
He honestly put on a great clinic, and a lot of people thought that he was in trouble in some areas and things, but it was interesting chatting to him after the after keep calling it the show. It is the show.
Yeah.
But for them, it's like fight to the death. But for us, it's a entertaining sport. But he was like even saying when he was even in trouble and people looked like he couldn't get out of positions and stuff, he was actually using his weight against him, so he would get tired and he could have got out of those positions a bit earlier, but he was using it to basically tire him out, and he did. And because
Finding Mustafayev.
that's right, Mr. Five, yeah. And I thought he was going to, he got knocked down in that first little section. And even Brad was saying, he gets excited, and that's one thing he has to take away and learn from that fight, is not to get carried away.
Too carried away.
Not rushes, finishes, and it was great. I really enjoyed Brad's fight. And
what was interesting talking to Brad Riddell afterwards was watching that fight from beside the cage. I thought that he looked pretty hurt. I thought he looked pretty tired. I thought it looked like a tough fight. We saw him fight Jamie Malaki in his debut, and that was a war. You saw him right into the final seconds throwing elbows from the ground. And now
they were both on their hands and knees, punching each other.
And we see this fight against Mr. Five. And
I didn't think he looked that hurt.
I thought he was when he was in the cage, but then when we talked to him afterwards, he was fine. And I said to him, it looked like a bit of a war, didn't it? And he said no. He said no, it was fine.
Because most of it was Mustafa's blood. That's what it looked like.
There was that moment where he got the cut on his forehead, and there was that moment, and it was like he literally saw blood. He touched
it was
his...
like gladiator stuff. He literally went he saw that he had a cut on his head, and he was like, "You prick!" and then he was decided to turn it on, and it was crazy. I wonder with those kind of cuts and stuff, for me, when I don't shave at the moment, obviously because I got a beard or trying to grow a ridiculous beard. But when I shave and I cut and it doesn't stop bleeding, I put these little bits of toilet paper. I wonder if they do the same thing.
Do you think he comes back with a whole roll of toilet paper? Just when you've had a brutal fight, when you've been one of those guys that's been fighting Tony Ferguson and you're just covered in cuts, you just come out, your wife sees you afterwards. It's just dozens of pieces of toilet paper all over your face. I reckon that's I reckon you could be a medic for the UFC after that, Mac. You have cracked it. Cut man extraordinaire.
Just Nick a little bit of toilet paper paper there. That does it for me.
Fuck Vaseline. You know, no stitches, no Vaseline, nothing. You just need a roll of toilet paper and a good attitude.
Imagine that if I actually got the job as cut man, but that was my only experience, was me cutting myself shaving. And so why is he putting, like, people are commenting, why is he putting toilet paper on his face? Well, that's his own experience.
Just a roll of toilet paper and a positive attitude. Yeah. That's all you need.
Don't put aftershave on Brad Riddell afterwards, because you want to see a second fight.
And of course the main event from that fight was Hooker versus Felder.
The noise of that fight was amazing, and it was so good. It was a close fight. I had, like, as much as we obviously support the Kiwi fighters, Paul Felder won me over in the week building up. He was such a nice guy. I honestly thought that we could have hung out and we got on pretty well.
I thought we could have been mates.
Yeah, and so because we chatted to him earlier on in the week, and we were just talking about just life in general. And
he went out on his Instagram page and said he had an Instagram story the day afterwards. Yeah, and he said, I'm going to be down. He'd just gotten out of hospital. He's sitting in his Airbnb. Yeah, and he went out on his Instagram story and said, I'm going to be down at Bruin Key in like 2 hours.
Wow.
If you guys want to come and hang out with me, just come on down.
Did he?
Yeah, and I was in Palmerston. I
didn't get that message.
I should have messaged you. You could have gone down and made friends with him.
Well, maybe we weren't as close as I thought. With that. Oh wow, did anyone show up then?
I don't know. I didn't go.
Did Dan go? Is that awkward?
Well, they looked like they became friends afterwards, didn't they? You see that photo that Carl Weber posted on Facebook of the two of them in the hospital next to each other on the gurneys?
Yeah, maybe we could post that up. But yeah, it was it was an amazing fight. Dan looked amazing. Paul looked like Paul needed 2 rounds to get punched in the face and for his eye to close up for him to go, I'm actually in the fight now. And then he turned it on, and I was when I went to split decision, I was pretty worried. But I think that takedown in the 3rd round for me was a clincher. But we were just chatting before on the scorecards. Yeah, only one judge gave it to
that is the weird thing,
Dan, in that last round. So it didn't even really. I mean, it did pay big dividends because it made him 3-2 on one of the cards. But yeah, I don't know. I think it was a great fight.
Yeah, and looking at the scorecard, it was only a judge named Howard Hughes who gave Hooker that round.
Who's Howard?
I think it's deceased billionaire.
Oh wow, that's good to see him.
And crazy person Howard Hughes, because he's a man of many talents. He can build you a plane out of wood, and he can also judge a UFC fight. Yeah. But everybody gave Hooker the first round. Going into that last one, I think on the judges' scorecards. Yeah. Hooker had won the fight already anyway.
For the ones that already gave him.
Well,
Oh no.
Well, it was tied with one, and Hooker was far enough ahead on one of the other cards that he even losing that round, one of the judges didn't give him that round, but still gave him the fight.
Yeah. So the judges were Barry Foley, who I think he was in Police Academy. I think he was in a Police Academy, so good to see him working again. Yeah. Howard Hughes, who was, ex...
well, $1 billion isn't worth what it used to be,
Well, true. So maybe he's got to do a little bit of judging on the side. And then David, is it Leatherby? I think that sounds like someone who knows their boxing. Leatherby. It's sounds like a martial art, old American kind of.
It sounds like a guy
like the Leatherby gym. Yeah, you know what I mean. It's that kind of.
It sounds like a guy in the 1940s.
Yeah, he's definitely David Leatherby
with his hands forward.
That's right, and he says fisticuffs instead of fighting.
Yes,
and he definitely owns a flat cap.
Oh,
Like-
100%. And he fights in the flat cap.
Yeah.
He doesn't even take it off.
Yeah.
He gets into the ring,
Yeah.
no shirt but a flat cap.
Yeah.
And fights with his hands forward like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's why he's judging and not training people.
So Howard Hughes and David Leatherby gave it to Dan Hooker, and Barry Foley
Doesn't
gave
know
it-
what he's talking about.
He's still living off the police academy days.
Yeah. It was
yeah.
interesting though, because they did seem to be a bit of a grudge match. It seemed to be.
Yeah, but it's exactly what they said it was. It was just basically two guys stylistically very similar, and it was just and Eugene Berryman said in the week previous it was too close of a fight to call, and it was going to be who made the least amount of mistakes, or what I think, even though the judges didn't think that this was a big deal, was who would come through in those latter rounds as who wanted it more. And I think with that takedown, I want to keep saying that because that sealed the deal. But anyway, but this is a really great point, I think, to talk for what's next with Dan Hooker.
Yeah, well, he called out Justin Gaethje.
And Justin Gaethje, let me tell you this. It's a very hard name to say when you've got
an injured jaw.
injured jaw and like bloody lip and stuff.
Yeah.
Because I think he said Gaethje, but not because he can't say Gaethje, but just because he's just been in a fight.
Yeah.
I wonder what other names would be really hard to call out. No, maybe that's why people don't call out Yoel Romero.
It's really hard to make the Yoel sound.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody wants to call out like.
No one wants to say Nurmagomedov.
Yeah, nobody wants to say Khabib Nurmagomedov.
I can't even say it now, let alone after a massive fight. But,
when you've got a broken jaw.
Yeah.
I thought what was really impressive from Hooker in that fight was his striking defense.
Yeah.
And that was something you saw in that first round.
I don't know if you saw the photo. Maybe we could bring it up later on. But there was this where he called out Dustin Poirier, which is another hard name to say after a fight. But because you don't know how much of emphasis you should put on the Poirier without sounding like a dick. Yeah. Because if you just say it casually like Poirier, you're not saying it properly. But if you go Poirier,
it sounds like you're trying to sing New Zealand classic Poirier.
Maybe that's what we have to do.
Yeah.
Put Poirier in it. It's like kind of those people that like say who order Italian and say, "Can I have a glass of wine and the rigatoni fettuccine?" You just say fettuccine, mate.
Yeah, I do that when I'm me and my wife went to Italy and I spent the whole time speaking in like an Italian accent.
Did you?
I was like the whole time.
Not Italian, just English, but in an Italian.
Just English in an Italian accent.
Right.
Yeah, just walking around going like, "You have a nicer hotel." It's very nice.
Wow, you managed to get a little Borat in
Where
there as well.
It's a terrible Italian accent. Where is the elevator?
You're just putting R in everything. That's great. My Italian thing, I was trying to speak the language, but I was only going off other people's interactions. So whenever someone would say something like I'd buy something or a thing like that, I would say "grazie prego," which that apparently is what you say, but no, it's not what you say. Until I'd been doing it for 4 days straight, and then this lovely Italian lady goes, "What you're saying is thank you, you're welcome." You're doing both bits. So I was just like going like, here's some pasta. So you can buy other things in Italy, but I was like, "Can I have the pasta, please?" Thank you, you're welcome.
I think prego means like everything in Italian. I think
it's like
Kia ora, right? It's like you can prego means like thank you. It means like goodbye. It means like welcome. It means you're welcome.
Yeah.
It's like one of those weird words where like you walk into a hotel and you're like, and they're like, "How much is the room tonight?" And they're like, "Prego."
Yeah. Yeah. But I think even in New Zealand, you wouldn't go "kia ora," especially in an Italian accent. But yeah, so the fight, the picture was an amazing one of Dan Hooker. So he was defending with this hand, and so the Felder's hand was blocking that thing, and then he got him with an amazing left jab, and that kind of summed up the fight for me. Was just the amount of times that he could get in on Felder, but also not take as much damage. Now, obviously, Felder did get in on him as well, but I just thought that his defense was so good, and but being able to defend and attack, I was really amazed. But the Poirier call out, I think now is genius because Conor and Gaethje seem like they're going to be destined to fight. Even though people are saying Conor's going to duck Gaethje, but I honestly don't. I think that's going to just be a contract issue rather than...
Yeah, it seems to me like this fight has to happen between Conor and Gaethje.
Yeah.
Conor and Poirier fought before.
Yes.
So no, that's not really an interesting fight that people want to see.
No.
Conor versus Gaethje. I think Gaethje...
Ferguson and Khabib are tied up.
Ferguson and Khabib are tied up.
Yeah.
Khabib has said he doesn't want to fight Conor McGregor. Khabib has said he wants Conor McGregor to make his way back through the ranks. And I think if you're Conor McGregor and you're back in the UFC now, you want to get another shot at Khabib, you want to convince... you want to put the pressure on Khabib to take that fight, then you've got to fight someone like Justin Gaethje.
I'm going to make a big call here. This is what's going to happen.
Okay.
This is not what's going to happen, but this is what I really want to happen. Ferguson beats Khabib. Ferguson has the title. Conor then goes and fights Ferguson. Conor takes the belt off Ferguson, and then Conor calls out Khabib. And then Khabib can retire.
Oh.
There's like 3 or 4 multi-million-dollar fights.
Can you see Ferguson beginning? This is one of the hardest ones to call, isn't it? Ferguson.
Oh, that's
Khabib.
yeah.
Ferg versus Khabib is just a ridiculous fight because Ferguson is just an animal. He is just Tony Ferguson is an absolute machine. His cardio is incredible.
But that's what I like about him is his cardio is ridiculous. So even in the 5th round, because that's what Khabib does, is he basically wears you down. But I've been listening to and I was just saying I was talking to. I haven't been talking to anyone. I've been listening to and watching a lot of interviews with the different people who work with Ferguson. And Eddie Bravo is an amazing jiu-jitsu coach for him. And they're talking, and the way that they're talking is that they're not afraid to be taken down. They're going to attack him from the ground. They're going to cut him up on the ground. Yeah. And no one's really done that to Khabib because everyone's been trying to get back up.
Yeah.
And no one's been wanting to fight off their back.
Yeah. I heard Eddie Bravo saying you're going to see him fighting from the ground. You're going to see a lot of elbows. You're going to see Darce chokes. You're going to see...
It's so exciting.
It is.
It's so exciting.
The thing about Tony Ferguson is he can cut you from the ground. He can cut you
Have
from
you
the
seen
ground.
that photo or that meme of like his last 8 or 9 fights? And every single one of his opponents have been like... It's like a Night of the... Walking Dead type situation.
Yeah. It looks like a pile of zombies.
Yeah.
Like it looks like people dressed up for Halloween.
But also equally though, Ferguson does look like that in the photos too.
I mean, he gets cut up himself.
That's what we love about him as a fighter. Or not love about him because we don't want to see anyone hurt, but it's just, his fights are so...
That's why he needs a roll of Nick Rado's toilet paper, just to make sure that he comes out of the ring and all of those things heal properly.
Yeah,
otherwise he'll be scarred up for life.
Well, that's it. It's a bit of toilet paper and a bit of brute aftershave, and I reckon it'll be all good. But yeah, so I think Hooker versus Poirier in like a June card or something like that would set him up really well. And then if Hooker beats Poirier, the world is literally his oyster. Like he could, I think, I don't know. I think the division gets held up a little bit, so I think Hooker will only fight one more time this year, just because the way that the things are going to pan out. I'd love to see him fight more because he deserves it, whether he wants to or not.
It'd be great to see him have a fast turnaround. I don't think this is going to happen, but it'd be great to see him have a fast turnaround and feature on the card in Perth in June.
I don't know if that... I didn't even think Volkanovski can get onto that card.
Well, I've heard rumours.
Oh, really?
We can't talk about that.
Oh, okay.
But that's going to be an interesting one. If you're a combat sports fan in this side of the world, you have got to go to UFC in Perth in June. That's going to be an incredible event. That was UFC, and it was a great week. It was an incredible week talking to the fighters. Paul Felder was a really interesting person to talk to. I think he was a really nice guy. What I was really what sort of brought a tear to my eye was the way everybody booed Paul Felder when he walked into the ring.
I know.
But when the fight finished, he got a standing ovation. Like he won the respect of New Zealanders.
I think because he lost.
Had he won, we
real-
probably would have booed.
Yeah.
We're sore losers.
Yeah.
We're humble winners, but we're sore losers. We wouldn't have been happy.
Almost rubbing it in his into his cuts, into his wounds that
Yeah.
he lost by we're cheering him, go, hey, you lost.
Then he announced his potential retirement from the ring.
Yeah, we were like, no, don't do that. We want to see you lose again.
Yeah, we want to see this again.
Yeah, but with the same result.
Same result would
Yeah.
be good.
Yeah.
We had that same week we had some fighters fighting on one championship. That was really interesting.
Oh, yeah.
We had two fighters.
So talk us through how many fights City Kickboxing had. Oh no, because not all of them are City Kickboxing.
No, well, the City Kickboxing had 9 fights that weekend because we had Eternal the night before UFC, Eternal 50, here in Auckland, and City Kickboxing. So they had 9 fights on Eternal and 3 fights in UFC. So they had a dozen fights. They had a dozen professional fights, and they won 11 of those 12 fights. And the one that they lost was in a bracket. It was in the guy had to fight twice in the same night, and he lost the second fight. He won the semi-final and lost the final in I think a split decision for the heavyweight crown at Eternal 50, which is insane.
If you ever think about like your own like working situation, if you've ever had to put in a double shift, it's quite hard to do that. But let alone, so is it a 3-round fight in the semi-final to win that and then go in and go, John's not turned up to work. Can you fill in? And you're like, oh, all right, okay.
Yeah. And by fill in, it means you have to get locked in a cage with a fucking monster who's just going to kick you in the head for 15 minutes.
Well, a lot of people would argue that's what their employer is like anyway. But and then to lose by a split decision. So that's an amazing. City Kickboxing is doing something really amazing, and
there was Henry Burns who was in the final of that fight, and he was fighting Ricky Beechin, who won.
Who gave him the call out?
Yeah, Jimmy Crook gave him a big shout out.
Big shout out afterwards, in front of everyone, and an amazing time. So City Kickboxing doing amazing things, but we also had some fighters in the one championship. How did they go?
Not good.
Oh, really?
Not good.
Okay.
One championship doesn't seem to be our platform for New Zealanders lately.
Okay.
Look, they all look really impressive.
Yeah.
Kieran
Some
Joblin,
really impressive results.
Kieran Joblin fought on One Warrior Series that week, and he lost in a first-round TKO. But Kieran Joblin's a really promising fighter.
Yeah.
Fights out of Christchurch. I first saw Kieran Joblin on Brace 41 in Christchurch about 5 years ago or something, 4 years ago, whenever that was. I was taking pictures at Brace 41 in Christchurch, and he was fighting Greg Atzori, and he's a really talented fighter. So seeing him on that platform is really interesting now.
Yeah, great.
The other person who fought on that card was Joey Balon.
Okay.
Joey Balon lost a unanimous decision. It did go to the cards, went the distance, but Joey Balon fights out of Elite Thai Kickboxing, I believe, Jason Studdy's gym here in Auckland.
Yeah.
He's he's done very well in King of the Ring in the past, so he was over there fighting on One Warrior Series as well. We should have seen James the Pitbull Bishop fighting on that same card as well.
What happened to the Pitbull?
He failed his hydration test.
That's a classic Pitbull.
That's a classic Pitbull move. To just not drink enough water.
Well, maybe he was drinking it like a Pitbull with just his tongue.
Just lapping it up.
Instead of actually taking in the liquids.
You reckon straight after the weigh-in, he was like, all right, I've got to take in some water.
He got down to his bowl. Some water. And they gave him a bowl of water. And he's like, oh, God, here we go.
He's just there for 4 hours, just like...
I cannot get enough into me.
Oh, my God, I'm going to fail this hydration test. I'm going to keep going. But he's just... And the more he drinks, the more he sweats. Yeah. Like just from that head movement of trying to lick it up. It's just going in and out.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you fail your hydration test and you can't fight.
So what's failing hydration test? What does that include?
It's a pee test, I think, and they test the gravity of your piss. I don't know how.
So they
this
hang you
works.
upside down.
Yeah, what they do is they hang you upside down and
First
see if
of all-
piss comes out of your forehead.
First of all, who has got that job?
That's somebody's.
to weigh the gravity, to measure the gravity of your urine.
Imagine what that person wanted to do for a job, and then they wound up their job being, I have to measure the gravity of people's piss.
Yeah,
That's my job now,
Yeah.
is I measure the gravity of people's piss.
called the pit bull. Oh wow!
So what
So
else
he failed
happened?
that. Oh, that's unfortunate. So well, hopefully the pit bull can get back in the ring and and do his thing. But that's got to be gutting because you train so hard for the fight, and just little technicalities like that it's really got to be
Yeah.
disappointing. But obviously the fighter's health has to come first. But oh well, so they did the 3-peat, but the opposite way. World Championship.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Okay. Well, hopefully better results next time.
Yeah, but it was a really exciting week that week. We went to the press conference.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Talking to Israel Adesanya,
Yes.
talking to him about what's happening this weekend.
Yes.
So that's super exciting.
So yeah, back to UFC 248.
248.
248. I am nervous. I'm nervous about this one.
You're nervous about Yoel?
Yes. I think that I have every faith in Israel. I think he's gonna be amazing. But I just think that Yoel, I'm afraid of his old man dirty tactics.
Yeah.
I think if I was in the ring with him, I'd fall for it every time. The classic one he did with Paulo Costa, where he literally went, "Look over there," in the middle of a
Well,
fight.
it's an
But then
old trick,
Paulo
but it's a
went,
goodie.
"What?" like that, and then he got smacked in the face.
It's an oldie, but it's a goodie.
It was a great tactic.
You
and
can't-
yeah.
You can't blame the simplicity of it. You can't. Just the. You know,
yeah.
just we haven't seen it in a while. The old look over there, you know.
If he says, if Yoel says, "Hey Izzy, your mum's calling you," then
And hands him a landline.
Yeah, exactly. Izzy, your mum wants you home for dinner.
If you're watching this, Izzy, don't fall for your mum's calling you.
Oh mate, no, yeah, totally. Like, don't fall for any tricks. And I think in the press conference he said, "Don't what I love about Izzy." He says, "If you can't beat him, join him." So I can't. Izzy will have a few tricks up his sleeve as well.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll bring out that he'll be go. Oh, he can't say your mum's calling you because Yoel, I think. He
He's
is
so
about 80
old.
already.
Yeah, his mum must be 150.
Yeah.
But she's Brazilian, so she'll look like a 150-year-old little Brazilian lady.
Yeah.
Which I think makes you look like you're about a 23-year-old white person.
Yeah, exactly. That's totally the same. Yeah.
They last forever.
Yeah. No, I'm super looking forward to the fight, and I think when Izzy beats Yoel, it's gonna solidify his. He is the man.
Yeah.
Because I just think that no one's wanted to call him out because of
Yeah.
what we said earlier. Imagine if he called him out after, with being hit in the face. It's a hard name to call out.
Yeah.
But yeah, even Darren Till went online and said, "Yo, I was a scary man."
Yeah.
Darren
I
yeah.
saw Joe Rogan and Brendan Schaub talking about this.
Yeah.
Saying nobody calls out Yoel.
No.
Imagine being caught in a cage with that monster.
Yeah.
Imagine being caught in a cage with that beast. He's gonna hurt you. No matter. I mean, people will beat Yoel. Paulo Costa beat Yoel.
Yeah. I
Controversially.
think Yoel won that fight.
I agree
I think
with
he
you.
even beat Robert Whittaker twice.
Twice. You
Yeah.
reckon,
Oh no, not the first time, but
No.
the second time I think he beat him.
Yeah.
Beat him.
But people will get through Yoel, but they're not going to get through without getting hurt.
What I love about Yoel is that he'll just sit out a round. Like he'll just give up a round. And you kind of almost halfway through, you're like, is he just resting?
It's I'm 43 years old.
Yeah.
I just need a break.
Well, I think in the Robert Whittaker fight, he only fought 3 rounds. The rest of the rounds, he just
the other
relaxed.
2 rounds were union time.
Yeah, literally. He actually put in his break. He clocked out. He
Yeah.
literally clocked out.
Yeah.
But that's what I love about his tactics is that he will know, because obviously he learnt that from the first fight.
Yeah.
That he ran out of energy because the first 2 he just blitzed him. But then in the 3rd round, like I honestly thought he was going to finish Robert Whittaker.
Yeah.
Because he was like, he was just going from pillar to post, being
Yeah.
knocked around. But I think Whittaker did enough, points wise and stuff. Obviously he did, but
I think that's the incredible
yeah.
thing about Yoel is that he's an incredible wrestler. He was an Olympic wrestler, but he's become a knockout artist.
Yeah.
He just starches people.
Yeah.
And that's that you're going to get hurt in the ring with him.
What I want to see, and this is going to be an ultimate test for City Kickboxing and Izzy as well. I want to see like what we saw with Brad Riddell in his fight. I want him to see him in those tougher positions, in those defending takedowns and in the clinch, because I want Izzy and City Kickboxing to show off, hey, look, this is what we've been, we're not just, they've even said it in the week prior to UFC Auckland, we called City Kickboxing, but we're not, we do other things.
Yeah.
It's like McDonald's, they do, I was like Burger King, they do onion rings as well.
Yeah.
This is a terrible example.
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is the onion rings of fighting. Is that what we're saying?
I've just realised this analogy.
Wrestling is the side salad. Yeah. Well, like
no, I reckon Tai Chi. Tai Chi is the side salad.
Tai Chi is the side
restaurant.
salad. And wrestling is the milkshake.
Yeah.
Wrestling.
Oh yeah, of course, because everyone, you feel you want it, but you don't really need it.
This is the advice that you get on this show. As you get Nick Rado's advice on, don't bother wrestling and bring some toilet paper if you get cut. That's the way to survive in UFC.
You can see why
Who do we think is going to be next? Is it going to be Paulo Costa? We're going to see Paulo Costa versus Israel.
He's got to get through Yoel, but I honestly, do you know what I'd love to see? I think, Cannonier's out. I've seen him on Instagram with his surgery, and he is like his bicep. I don't know what it is with that division and hurt biceps.
Bicep injuries. Yeah.
Maybe they're doing other things in their off time. They need to take a break on. But
there's a reason for Paulo Costa's definition, and it's just
very
furious
one-sided
masturbation.
Very one-sided.
That was what Tyson Fury said. He said, "Did you hear Tyson Fury's quote?" He said,
No.
"I jerk off 7 times a day to increase my testosterone." And he goes, "And it works.
Wow.
It works. I jerk when I'm in training camp.
Yeah.
Imagine trying to find the time for that when you're in training camp."
Well, Deontay Wilder does that, but he does it with his legs, so that's why he had no legs. He blamed his suit, but he shouldn't masturbate with a suit on.
Hey, we talked to Izzy about who was next, and he had the same answer, I think. He said, can we see that video, Luciana? Can we see when I asked Izzy about who's next after Yoel?
Okay.
Can we see that?
But I have no doubt that they're going to get the job done tomorrow.
Hey, who's next? Is it Paulo Costa?
Joel Romero's next. He's the next guy. He's the guy in front of me, so I don't really look past them. I don't know how the Juice Monkey got miraculously healed in 6 months or 7 months from a bicep injury. Oh, praise Asai, but Yoel's the only guy I'm focused against, so I don't really look out past him right now. All good.
Cheers. Nick Rado from New Zealand. So that's Izzy chatting away there. But so what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think I think he's obviously clearly focused on Yoel, and Yoel's going to be the only person he's thinking about at the moment. He's not thinking about Paulo Costa. He's just focused on getting through this monster. But that was a fun.
Oh, it was super fun. It was super fun, and Izzy was in fine form. I don't know if we have a video of because we were at the press conference, and there's so what happens at the UFC press conferences is that the media gets asked super technical, boring questions, and then what they do is they let the audience get in, and like and 99% of the time they're actually more informative and
Yeah.
better than the actual media questions.
Yeah, they're brilliant questions. We had this guy. Can we see this video, Lord China, where the guy from the press conference?
Yeah.
This fight done, it's going to be so beautiful. It's going to be so gracious, and I can't
Have
wait.
you seen the finishing sequence in your
seen
mind?
many.
You
I've seen
visualize
many.
how you're going to finish him?
I've seen many. And like I said, what I want is 5-0. I really want 5-0, but if he dies, he dies.
Can you also give a shout out to my brother?
What's his name?
Can you give a shout out to Salim?
Salim. What's up, Salim? Where you at?
Oh, he's at work, but thanks.
Hey.
Oh, can you give a shout out to my dad?
Yeah.
Oh no, he's dead.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh man, that was so funny, and Izzy's so good like that. Like he is, and this is the thing where Izzy is, he's grown in the dark in terms of like what I mean is that he has obviously got all those different kickboxing fights underneath his belt, but he's gone over to China and he's gone overseas and he's been in these different and weird, wonderful environments before. He's had to go through the press conferences, go through the big stadiums. He was fighting in front of massive crowds when he went overseas, like for his kickboxing fights and stuff. And he's got all this experience. So when you get to the UFC, and he is getting in these massive fights, and with it comes all these media opportunities, and getting opportunities like that, where it's like, hey, get a shout to my brother, you know, hey, what's up, Salim? Where is he at? He's at work. He can laugh along at that and make and be in tune in the fight and all that kind of stuff, but also have a laugh. And I think it's what people love and why we love him so much.
well, yeah. What did we think about the Twin Towers comment though?
Yeah, but I know what he meant.
Yeah.
And I know what he meant, and I don't think that people should have got offended by it, because he was basically saying, because everyone says this, Luke Rockhold said, kicking Yoel Romero is like kicking steel. And
Yeah.
so when he started that comment, he said, everyone says he's like kicking steel and, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
And the way that he said about the Twin Towers falling, he'll fall, you know, quicker than the Twin Towers. It wasn't making fun of the atrocity or the terrorism act or anything like that. He was like, the building fell down quickly. That's the thing he was trying to get
Yeah.
at. Was it the best choice of euphemism? Best choice of an analogy? You know, coming from a guy who just said wrestling is like the milkshake.
I mean,
Sometimes you get the analogies wrong. Your mouth goes
We're
faster.
both comedians,
Yeah.
right? Who hasn't made an inappropriate Twin Towers joke? I can just imagine that in your set. And if you haven't seen Nick Rado, a very funny comedian, most of his comedy is about his wife and her yoga practices and veganism.
Yes,
But then just throws in a really inappropriate Twin Towers joke halfway through, back to wife.
Well, that's it exactly. Yeah. No, it's an interesting. I think the way that he handled it, and I think what he did was really smart. I think it's dealt with now. I don't think we need to go back to it. He tweeted out, like, someone actually tweeted like what the thoughts on it were, and it was along the lines of, you know, what you said was really inappropriate, but I know you didn't mean that. And then Israel just sort of said, this sums up everything that's been going on. I didn't mean it. I wasn't talking about the atrocity that was the Twin Towers. But my mouth was running faster than my head that day. And you got to remember as well that Izzy had just come from sparring. Yeah. And he was in this
It's
jacket.
an insane week.
It was. He'd just come from sparring. He was literally in his bare feet and shorts, and he was in his like a jacket just to keep warm. And then he went straight into this press conference. He had like people giving shout outs to brothers that weren't even there, and all this kind of stuff. And then he gets his brain sort of faded a little bit, but it didn't, he's not that guy. He's
No.
not that guy. So that's why, people got upset for like 3 or 4 days. He dealt with it. He apologized.
Yeah.
And even
And I think
like-
people are over it.
Yeah, totally. And
You know.
even Ben Askren said, "Thanks for your apology. Just
Yeah.
try not to do it again."
Yeah.
That's all we can do.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, that's,
Yeah.
you're tired. You're on the mic. You're gonna say some
Oh,
stuff. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
But no, I
Um,
think he's the man, and I think he's even in that kind of stuff he handles himself really well.
Yeah, man. And how many hours and hours and hours and hours and hours has there been of Israel Adesanya, having
Nailing
incredible
it.
speeches and
Absolutely.
killing it in
Exactly.
press conferences,
Yeah.
and at the Hellbergs, killed
Yeah,
at the Hellberg
exactly.
Awards. And we get this one,
Yeah.
joke where it's like,
Yeah.
I think you're gonna got to give it to him after this.
I mean, I
I
you
think
can't all just have jiu-jitsu being the onion rings.
we can't all have that level of just classy humor of
that inside knowledge.
yeah,
Oh gosh.
So we've had some boxing.
Yeah.
In the city as well.
Oh my gosh.
It's been an incredible few weeks for combat sports in this
That's
country.
right, that's right.
So we had an event called the Fight to Glory that happened at Quarters Hotel just this weekend gone, and we saw a new New Zealand champion in the women's division, the women's
Do we have
super lightweight
any
division.
competitions that just have a fight for the hell of it?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like it's always got to be fight for glory or
Yeah,
some sort of like pride or that kind of
yeah,
stuff.
yeah. I want to just see one that's just called like,
Yeah.
give it a go.
Yeah. I think that's called boxercise. Yeah. So yeah, tell us through what happened.
Yes,
at Fight
so
for Glory.
we saw a New Zealand women's champion, a woman named Karen Taruki Parsony, beat Tanya Reid,
Wow.
took out the women's super lightweight championship in New
Now
Zealand.
tell us about her backstory.
Sure,
Because,
she's a mother of two.
yeah.
Karen Taruki Parsony, and she is a Navy officer here in Auckland. Because this
Already
is what
she's way better than me purely because I tried to get into the Navy when I was 17 and they wouldn't let me in because I'd had asthma.
yeah.
That was it. I couldn't get in.
Oh,
I could have been
did the same thing
Coulda-
keep you
coulda
out
s-
of being a woman's super lightweight boxing champion?
totally
Yeah, just the asthma.
just asthma. If I hadn't had asthma as a kid, I would have been.
Women's super lightweight champion right now.
I don't think I could have been actually. Even, yeah. Anyway, yeah.
So that was really interesting, and this is something about women's boxing. The UFC. We talk about the UFC a lot, and the UFC has done so much for women's combat sports.
Oh, absolutely.
Where you've got people like Joanna Jacek, you've got people like Rose
Valentina
Namajunas,
Shevchenko
Valentina
is
Shevchenko.
literally the best ever. Yeah.
People who are getting, I think in the women's division in the UFC, they're on the same platform as the men's division, and that's
Oh.
something that the UFC
Yeah.
has done for combat sports for women.
Headlining,
Yeah.
like headlining
Headlining
cards
events.
that are like some of the best cards. I still remember Rose Namajunas versus Joanna Jacek
Jacek,
when Rose knocked her out
Yeah,
was one of the greatest like moments and fights ever because the way that Joanna was going in and sort of almost bullying Rose, and the fact that Rose sort of came from nowhere and she was doing all this like circular hand motion breathing type thing before she got in just to calm her nerves down, and then just to put that classy thing on. It's fantastic. It's brilliant.
Meanwhile, in boxing, you've got to have a side gig in the Navy.
That's
That's why
two kids and defend our coastal borders.
and then also while you're at it, do you mind being the women's super lightweight champion of the country? That would
Does
be
she
cool.
come out? Does the song that she come out to is in the Navy? Like
That would be brilliant, wouldn't it?
yeah.
In the Navy, that'd be awesome.
So she only started. She's like because you never should say someone's age, obviously.
No,
but-
we're talking about someone else there. You're talking
okay.
about Giovanna Perez.
Oh, of
Giovanna
course, sorry,
Perez,
yes,
of course,
yes,
is
yes, sorry.
Giovanna Perez. Now this one should be a household name. In this country.
Yes,
Giovanna Perez has got a fight coming up. Giovanna Perez, if you don't know who Giovanna Perez is, you should. She's the women's WBO light heavyweight champion of the world right now.
That's right,
And she's a
yes.
Kiwi. She's a Brazilian-born Kiwi.
Yeah.
She is 43 years old. Giovanna Perez.
Oh, I thought she was going to say she's 43 and 0, but she's 43 years old.
She's 43 years old.
Wow.
She started boxing at the age of 38, like amateur boxing at the
So
age of
hold on,
38.
she started at 38.
She started boxing, amateur boxing, at the age of 38.
Wow.
She had never had a boxing match.
Do you know what?
before
That's
she was-
so inspirational to anyone who's like I thought, I might start, badminton again. So it's good to know that,
In 5 years' time, you could be
Mate, I
the
could-
badminton champion of the world.
I could
You
be.
could be.
That gives me inspiration.
You know?
Yeah.
You're not going to make it for the Tokyo Olympics, but
Yeah.
wherever the next one is, we
Well,
could see you out there banging
mate.
a shuttlecock.
I could be representing the Blackhawks.
Just-
For those of you who don't know, the New Zealand badminton team is called the Blackhawks.
It's called the Blackhawks.
Yeah.
Because
We name all
we-
our teams like the All Blacks, the Tall Blacks as the basketball team, the All Blacks the rugby team.
we didn't see anything wrong with that.
No, not at all.
No, we
In fact, the only time we didn't do that was our soccer team, which is the All Whites.
which
and-
feels racist.
Yeah, especially when the only World Cup that we've gone to in the last however many years was in South Africa.
Yeah.
So I just think, yeah. Anyway, but
They were like, yeah, South Africa, all once you guys can come. That's
yeah,
fine.
well, that's it exactly. So, but anyway, so I think, yeah. So yeah, but there's no malice behind it. But so she started at 38 and then within 5 years become world champion.
Yeah,
That's so
she
inspiring.
now, and she won the women's light heavyweight champion. The women's light heavyweight championship of the world, the WBO women's light heavyweight championship of the world, and this is another thing about women's boxing. She won that here at Sky City. I don't know if I should really talk about, because I do know how much she was paid, and this is not a criticism of the promoter. The promoter of that event is going to. It was Bruce Glozier Boxing here in Auckland, who also put on this event this week. This
Should
weekend
you be
gone.
saying this information?
No, I'm not going to say.
Okay.
But Glozier Boxing have done an
Just
incredible.
message us on the Facebook page on New Zealand Fight.
Yeah,
Go to
and we'll
like
tell
our
you the
Facebook page, and
secrets.
then we'll DM. Yeah.
They've done incredible things for women's boxing in this country. I think Bruce Glozier has really worked to champion women's boxing in New Zealand. He put on that event just this weekend with Karen Taruki Parsony as well. But the amount that you get paid in women's boxing compared to men's boxing, it's just. It's staggering, and this isn't the fault of the promoters.
I feel like you're not going to say it's way more.
Yeah,
That's where the twist.
They
of this
just
is
get
wow. They get so much
women's
more.
boxing get paid like 10 times.
Oh wow, that's
No,
really? So it's really bad.
It's not good,
Yeah.
and it's not the fault of the promoters. I think it's just women's boxing hasn't had the platform
Okay.
that the UFC's
I know you're
given.
not going to say the number, but the number that you've got in your head, right, of how much you know that she got paid,
Yeah.
if she went straight from Sky City,
Yes.
down to the blackjack or the roulette table and put like all on black or all on red to double her money, would that be okay? Would that be an okay amount?
I think she would have to do that something like 8 or 9 times over, just
that's
repeatedly
bad.
doubling it before she
That's
got paid the
bad.
same amount as Joseph Parker.
Okay, that's bad. All right, we need to do something about that.
Yeah, the amount of money she get paid, I think, and again, this isn't a criticism of the promoters. It's not the promoters' fault. It's a problem with the sport, and it's something we need to do to lift women's
we need to
boxing
get
in this
behind it,
country, or in worldwide. We need to lift women's boxing. I think
Yes.
the highest paid purse for women's boxing was like something like $500,000 was the highest paid person in the history of women's boxing. And meanwhile, like you've got Floyd Mayweather who's making $300 million. It's just
and women's
it's not even a comparison.
In women's boxing, do they call the purse the wallet?
Just the other way around.
It's the other way around?
Like, no, it's called the handbag.
Okay, yeah.
Women's boxing, you win, and you get a really nice handbag afterwards as well.
Well,
because
that's
we're
the
just
terrible
patronising
thing.
and
Yeah,
sexist.
well, no, it's really terrible. I think, but shows like this will hopefully lift the profile and
Yeah.
lift that,
So
because
she's-
that's what it needs. It kind of needs, like, there's a lot of people who go, yes, there's different female sports that don't get the coverage that they deserve, but we still have to get behind it. Like that's like the grassroots of it, right? Is like actually going to paying the physical money to go and see these amazing events and things like that.
That's exactly right.
And yeah, it's
so she's got a fight coming up against Lewis Ritson. She's got a fight coming up. Sorry, not against Lewis Ritson. She's fighting on the undercard to Lewis Ritson versus Miguel Vasquez.
Okay.
And Lewis Ritson's one of Eddie Hearn's fighters, so she's fighting over in the UK, and that's a much bigger platform. So then,
great.
You know, that I think gives people. You know, this will be her second defense of her world championship title. So that's going to be really interesting.
Amazing.
She
Well, good
is
luck.
the heaviest champion in the WBO at the moment. There is no women's heavyweight champion in the WBO.
Oh, I see. Right.
So as the light heavyweight champion, she is the heaviest
Yeah,
champion.
she is the king. She is the king.
Yeah.
Or the queen.
She is the queen of the
boxing.
WBO.
Wow.
So that's pretty incredible.
That's amazing.
And she's a Kiwi.
She's a Kiwi.
Yeah, she's here.
Well, we should get behind her.
We should.
For sure.
Yeah, Joseph Parker fought Shondell Winters over the weekend. Speaking of
Yeah.
Joseph Parker,
So, I gotta be honest with you. As much as we say we get behind all these kind of different things, I didn't watch it.
you didn't watch it?
No, because it was $45, 45 New Zealand dollars, and I had trouble with my pay-per-view account.
Yeah,
And it charged me 3 times, and it still didn't work.
it still didn't work.
Yeah.
So
So
you
I'm
got
still-
charged $135
To not watch
to not
it.
watch Joseph Parker.
Yeah.
Um,
Now, there's probably a lot of haters of Joseph Parker that would say that's a bargain, but I actually really wanted to watch the fight. I'm a massive Joseph Parker fan. So tell me, walk us through
well,
it. Because
Joseph Parker knocked out Shondell Winters, or he didn't knock him out. He had a technical knockout against Shondell Winters in the 5th round.
Yeah.
It was the second knockdown of the fight, and the second time that Winters had made it to his feet, but the referee waved it off.
Yeah, right.
The first knockdown was in the 3rd round. Joseph Parker knocked him down, and Parker said afterwards that he felt like he rushed the fight a little bit after that. He felt like he went into the sort of brawl mode.
Yeah.
So Winters kind of came back in the 4th.
Oh.
Winters probably won the 4th round.
Right. Wow.
But then I think Joe he just brawled him, just belted him.
Yeah.
He caught him with
The damage was already done.
some big heavy straight rights in the 5th. Hit him with a left hook and then another straight right, and he was just. I think that was game over for
I
Winters.
think out of all the seasons to fight, Winters would probably be the toughest one.
It feels like the toughest one.
Yeah.
I feel like if you're fighting autumn, you just crunchy leaves. You know, that's what you're fighting.
Easily falling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you know,
The springtime. Spring is they'll always get back.
they get a spring in the step.
Spring in the
They'll be back
step,
up.
but nimble, but
You
bit
know.
more cardio.
You fight in summer. Summer just sounds like a stripper's name, really, doesn't it? It sounds like
Or
like
someone
if you,
from an Australian soap opera. I
Yeah.
think that's
If-
another person. That
if you
could be
name
there.
your daughter Summer, I think you're making some life decisions for her at that point.
I think it's
soap opera.
I think
or
it's
stripper.
better to name her summer than it is to name her winter. like the most cold, depressing part of the thing. Like summer's
Yeah, okay, we'll give you that.
autumn's beautiful, like the changing of things. Spring's a bit weird because that's obviously, it has another meaning of spring in your step. But if you like, winter. Because a lot of people like in Northern Hemisphere call their kids like August or something because that's summertime, it's like good feeling. But here in New Zealand, that's like the coldest, darkest time, which is I don't know. Anyway, I don't know where I'm going with this. This is the onion rings of this analogy.
I feel like I could have interrupted this.
Oh,
rant at
mate,
any
but you-
point, but I
But
just,
you just let me.
I did.
Yeah.
I wanted to see it.
You
I wanted to see
you
where
could
it
have
was
been
going.
a referee in the Joseph Parker fight and waved it off quite early, but
Yeah.
you decided to
But
let
I
me
thought,
go.
let you go for the count.
Yeah. I
let's
wanted
just-
someone to throw in the towel like the Deontay Wilder fight, but no.
Yeah. What
Yeah.
else are we talking about? We've got King in the Ring that's coming out. Let's talk about some things that are coming up. So we got King in the
Ring's
Ring.
Great.
Blood Diamond's going to be back on King in the Ring, I
Yeah.
believe. Ashira Barty's going to be back in King in the Ring.
So King of
So-
the Ring, can I go out on a limb and say is now like a dress rehearsal, not a dress rehearsal, but like an audition for UFC now.
It's starting to feel that way, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, King of the Ring is a kickboxing competition, so it's a bit different. It's not mixed
Sure,
martial arts.
of course, I know, but yeah,
It's,
but like it feels like
you got all these guys who, you've got Israel Adesanya, who's come
Yeah.
from being a 2-time King of the Ring champion. You've got all these other guys who are sitting right on the edge.
Yeah.
Blood Diamond, I think.
that's
is
what
someone,
that was the name that was kept coming up
Yeah.
throughout, and that's not even just city kickboxing guys who were chatting about that. That was like the American promoters, UFC
Yeah.
people were saying like, Blood
Diamond's
Diamond was
right on
next.
the edge. Yeah, even Volkanovski said that to us when
Yeah.
we chatted to him.
Yeah.
We chatted to Volkanovski at UFC in Auckland.
Yeah.
Volk was there just chilling out, watching it. He came back and chatted to us for a bit. Can we see that video, Luciana, before we wrap this up? Can we check out that video from Volk? Two champs in the same gym now, man. Is there a bit of rivalry between you and Izzy for who gets to defend their titles as fast as the other?
Not at all. Again, it's obviously, they welcome me like as a family. Obviously, I'm based out of Australia and that freestyle fighting gym, but I'm a part of their team. We are a part of their team. We are teammates and we're like a family. So there's definitely no rivalry there. You know what I mean? It's again, if you could see if you got to even be backstage with the boys. When we're getting real, we mean business, and again we're really close and we're very tight knit. And you see them, us be so successful, and we're a real team. Again they try and say this is an individual sport, but it's not. Obviously you're in the cage by yourself, but there's a lot of hours that get done and put together. Before in preparation, and again, so it's unreal. It's always good to be able to have a team like that, to have that feel and motivation, even in training. It goes a long way, and then obviously having people supporting you, everyone back home and your teammates and family, it means a lot. So I'm sure the boys are ready to put on a show for their New Zealand fans and for their teammates too.
There's talks of a potential card in Australia in June with your hand.
How great was it? The incredible Volk. Was he good to chat to?
He was a lot of fun to chat to, Volk,
Yeah.
and Volk's a really nice guy.
Yeah.
You can see him in that video. He's a really smiley dude.
Yeah.
I posted on my Instagram a picture of me chatting to Volk. A picture of Volk, and then he stuck that on his Instagram story.
Right.
So I'm world famous now.
I've
been on.
Your mates with the Volk.
Yeah, best mates.
Yeah.
I was going to text him later to see if he wants to come around and play PlayStation.
You should start tagging him in your stuff. So like whenever you have like a really nice dinner and stuff,
Yeah.
and just go Champ Life and then
Yeah.
tag him in.
just like tag Volkanovski.
Yeah, because you guys are mates now.
yeah.
So he shares your stories, you share his.
I reckon he could come around and play like UFC on PlayStation with me,
yeah.
and I'll go as Volk. So, and he's going to go as
If
Max
you're a
Holloway.
UFC fighter, do you go as yourself?
I don't know.
Does that say something about you that you always go yourself? Or
What if you're like you're a wrestler and then you like want to play UFC on PlayStation, but you're like, oh, the wrestling moves are real hard to do. Like, I'm just gonna go with someone else as a striker.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm gonna go with Israel
Yeah.
Adesanya. He's got better striking than me.
Yeah,
That's gonna be more fun.
I wonder if they like do that to help with their training. Like, I wonder if they like
well play PlayStation.
play PlayStation. Like,
Just
wonder
see-
if Izzy's like versus Yoel and go like fighting, and you wouldn't want to do that just in case you lose. And you're like,
Just put them both on computer and see who wins, and then you're like, all right, maybe I won't take that fight.
yeah, maybe, maybe that's their flip of the coin of whether they'll take the fight. or
Yeah,
not.
it's just Dan Hooker versus Justin Gaethje on
Yeah.
on PlayStation.
It's just Justin Gaethje just doing massive some knockout punches the whole time.
Yeah.
So I think that's great that the Volk did that with you. But I just want to get back to King of the Ring, if that's okay.
Yeah.
And just talk about the fight coming up, the big one that's coming up.
Yeah, so it's March 30th, I think. Just check that out.
Yeah.
Check it out, King in the Ring. Just Google King in the Ring. Check them out on Facebook. The incredible 8-man series that is King in the Ring. If you've never watched King in the Ring before, if you've never been to a King in the Ring event, what happens is it's a kickboxing event where they fight 3 different fights on the same night. So they
so
come in,
good.
8 guys. They have 4 quarterfinals.
Yeah.
And these are all guys who've had to qualify to get to this event in the first place.
Wow.
And then they have a quarterfinal fight where they fight for potentially 3 rounds if there's not a knockout.
Yeah.
Potentially 4 if it's a tie after the end of the 3rd round. And then they.
What's the
whoever wins
most
that-
anyone's fought? Has anyone ever gone 12 rounds?
No,
Like,
I don't
you
know.
know
I
what
think,
I
it's
mean?
gone four, I think 4 is the most they go. I think that's
No, but what I mean is like 3, and then
yeah, definitely.
the dividing for
Yeah.
it. But if you do that every single quarterfinal, semi-final,
Yeah,
final,
yeah. I think I've seen people have 2 4-round fights in the same night and then go for a 3-round fight. I think when Ashir Abadi won, Ashir Abadi's back in this King of the Ring, so
Yeah.
he was a King of the Ring champion last year, and he's back again this year.
Yeah.
When he won against Josh Masters, and I saw Ashir Abadi. Nobody gets an easy night on that night, but Ashir Abadi got, I think, a first-round knockout in his first fight. His second fight was stopped at a few points because he lost his mouth guard.
Okay. Is
and
this
then-
Yoel Romero type losing a mouth guard, or is it
Yeah.
like a legit?
yeah. I mean,
I admire both. I'm not saying anything.
I thought it was tactics.
Okay.
His
But if
his
it works,
gym
it
has said it
works.
wasn't,
Yeah.
but I thought it was tactics. I was sitting pretty close to the ring.
I love that stuff.
But it was stopped at a few points.
Yeah.
But by the time he made it to the final, because you fight a third time in that night.
Yeah.
He was fighting a guy named Josh Masters, and
Yeah,
Josh Masters had just 2 wars before that, and came in. And it was still really close. Like Josh Masters really pushed it.
Yeah.
So I think he had a lot more rest by the time he made it to the final than Josh Masters had had. But still an incredible fighter, Ashir Abadi. He was the youngest King of the Ring champion ever. I think he was 18 when he won it last year. He's coming back in. So he's somebody to watch out for. Fights out at King's Academy here in Auckland.
Yeah, great.
They've got a couple of really interesting fighters. Ashir Abadi, AJ Al Sayed. They're really interesting guys.
But Floyd Masson and Lance Bryant, are they?
We've got Floyd Masson fighting in Australia very shortly.
Yeah.
So Floyd Masson is a Kiwi Australian boxer.
Yeah.
Floyd fought Smiling Iota Novosa in Auckland a while back. Floyd is he fights for Australia, but he's got a Southern Cross.
Oh, Southern Cross.
And the New Zealand version of the Southern Cross tattooed on his chest.
It's like a Robert Whittaker style. Oh, no, no, he's got the Australian one, I think.
He does, yeah. Floyd's got the New Zealand one, and he talks about, he's born in Te Awamutu. He talks about being a Kiwi, but he fights out of Perth nowadays. So
if you're born in Te Awamutu,
you're pretty Kiwi.
Yeah.
He's wandering around in his stubbies and his Tui hat, his Tui bucket hat, and his stubbies, and his jandals going like, I'm from Perth, sure.
Yeah, right, exactly.
He's fighting Lance Bryant. Lance Bryant's a Kiwi, of course, and Lance Bryant, who's trained by Billy Meehan or Mike Meehan, one of the Meehan brothers, and they're going to be fighting in Australia very shortly as well. So check that out. That's an upcoming fight. That's going to be a really interesting one. I think Floyd Masson's going to take that, and I think Floyd Masson is a real up and comer. I think he's potentially headed towards sort of top 100 in the world boxers in the, I think he's a cruiserweight. Cruiserweight division. So I think that's going to be a really interesting one to see.
Correct.
Fantastic. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all we've got coming up.
Yeah.
But we are going to be doing this pretty regularly. Keep an eye on the podcast. We're going to be talking about what's coming up. We'll be talking about onion rings and milkshakes. And
I'll dive deeper into that.
That analogy. I think what we need to do is we need to go away and really look at how the different combat sports compare to various fast food items. Which one's pizza?
Maybe that's what we could do online.
Elbows have got to be wicked wings,
yeah.
right? Elbows have got to be wicked wings.
Oh yeah, because if you have too many, they do fuck you off.
Make sure you check out Israel Adesanya, who's going up against Yoel Romero this weekend.
Yeah.
And definitely check out the fight to watch is going to be Tony Ferguson versus Khabib Nurmagomedov, and Tony Ferguson's wicked wings cutting him from the ground. That's going to be that's going to be the most interesting fight there. This has been a lot of fun.
Thank you, mate. It's been been a pleasure, and we'll see you on the next one. But it's going to be lots of fun. Good luck to all the fighters out there.
Yes.
Doing their thing, doing your thing.
Good luck to City Kickboxing. Good luck to Izzy.
Yeah.
And good luck to Giovanna Perez as she
Yes.
defends her WBO world title.
Yes.
In against Savannah Marshall
In England, the UK.
In England. Thanks very much, guys. We'll see you
See you
next
soon.
time.
Thank you very much.